Hello, thank you for tuning in to this section of reads. This should be on YouTube channel James 13 Wicca. If you're seeing it anywhere else, it's not the right place. It should be on James 13 Wicca on YouTube. The info on the dice and the cards I'm using is going to be below. Also, if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. And without further delay, let's go ahead and get into your reading. Hello, Gemini. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. This reading is valid for whenever you come to it. That being said, what do we have for Gemini? It feels like things are slow all of a sudden. Are things going slow? Gemini, to me, isn't a slow energy, in my opinion. Especially mentally, a lot going on mentally. So the fact that things slowed down a little bit kind of shocked me. What do we have going on here? Some Pentacle energy, which is slower. All right, so is this good or bad? It's slower. So I feel like as reference, I feel like I like it slower. Because in the past, it was crazy fast. Like, I feel like in the past, there was somebody, or probably a person, just constantly, I feel like I was constantly running. And I just feel like I didn't like it. When I see these two cards together, and this is a past influence, it's not what it used to be. And if this is what it needs to be, if it needs to be kind of on the boring side, kind of slower, so that I can have some sanity, I can find other things that will work for me. That's fine. I feel like this reminds me of, I've had some jobs that were crazy and very unhappy. And then I've had jobs that were slower after that. I've had jobs that were slower before and after that. But I appreciated the slower jobs afterwards, because kind of like, you know what, if that's the choice, either crazy, unhappy, fast, or more on the slower side, kind of boring, but not nearly as stressful, I guess I'll take it. And I'm getting, for whatever the situation is, it's kind of like, it's not nearly as stressful, and it has been stressful when it's been fast. And the fact that, and I don't really want that back, so I guess that's okay. Why is that? Am I missing something? It almost feels like it's not moving to me, and I'm like, I don't know if it's good or not, but it is a bit restrictive. That is kind of hard too, because it's kind of like the current energy, it is slower, it's safer, but it's also got a lot of boundaries, and it feels a bit overly restrictive. So it's kind of like very active, a lot going on, extremely stressful, or there is stress here, but it's like, it's stress that I can't do. It's more stifling on this energy. It's kind of like, yeah, but I know what to depend on. It's kind of like, you know, if I'm going to work every day, I used to make better money, and I used to be like very active, but it was very stressful, constantly stressful. Every day was stressful. Some days I didn't even want to go in. I was just like, every day from beginning to end, it was just stressful. Now the paycheck isn't as much, still doable, but it's boring. I don't worry about it. It's fine. I don't get stressed showing up to this job, but it's boring. And it's kind of like, oh my God, the clock goes so slow. So I feel like that's the grief there. It's kind of like the difference. And it's kind of like, are these the choices that I have? I feel like I'm trying to not look at too many options. I feel like I'm trying to accept the circumstances that I currently have, and that's a little stressful. This says release, but I keep that person, like, I'm trying to not see what other things I have here. I'm trying to like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be happy, and this is happier, and this isn't what that was. Five of Cups reversed in the Moon card. You have the Moon card coming in twice. Five of Cups reversed is kind of like, I feel like this is stable. It's boring. But I feel like this is more to my good than bad. Five of Cups right side up is kind of like 2 to the good, 3 to the bad. And it's over-centering on what's not good. Missing out on what, missing out on the positive aspects. This is reversed. This is kind of saying there's more good than bad, but I don't want to acknowledge that there's things here I don't like. I don't want to like look at that. I'm just kind of like just trying to accept what this is. I'm just trying to accept what this is. This situation is not intellectually stimulating at all for you, is what I'm getting. So is that a dog or is that a fox? Let me look at this card. I think it's supposed to be a dog, but it looked like a fox when I quickly looked at it. Okay, so it's not stimulating for you. You're trying to be optimistic about it. There's just nothing to really excite you here. And I feel like I don't want to move on from it because I'm like, I don't want things to get rough. I don't want things to be a problem. I just want this part of my life to be stable. And I don't like it. In fact, it's becoming more and more of a loathsome part of my life. I feel like I just really don't like it. But at the same time, it's not causing any major problems. It's kind of like looking at a job, kind of like, I don't like it. It's very boring. It's just so painful to be at because it's just so painfully boring. But I make the money I need to make, and it's not crazy, and I don't feel stressed when I show up, and it pays the bills, and I need something to pay the bills. And if I walk away from this and go into something else, I might put myself back in that crazy energy again, and I don't really want to do that. So it's kind of like I want to move on, but I'm afraid to move on. Okay. You're very intellectual. You know a lot of things. You've seen a lot of things. Whatever this situation is, I'm getting a heads up, like, there's no guarantees. Just because you want to stay in this situation doesn't mean the situation will keep you. Keep that in mind. They're kind of giving a heads up with that. Even though you're devoted or trying to stay with the situation, trying to be like, this is where I'm going to stay, whatever situation you're a part of doesn't mean that's going to reciprocate that. Be careful of that. Another possibility here to keep an open mind about, that Moon card keeps showing up. Something isn't right. I know that Moon card keeps showing up, but we haven't really talked about it. It's the third time it showed up. Once here on the actual cards and twice on the dice. Something isn't as it seems. The thing is, you can see a boatload of possibilities that other people can't. The thing is, if you're not looking in the right direction, you're not realizing what you need to be looking at. Can you see a lot of things other people can't? Clearly, without a problem. But for example, if you keep looking out the window, you're not noticing what's happening in the basement. Like if you're centering your attention, what's going on outside, what's going on out front, you don't realize what's going on in the basement unless you hear something happening or something. Like if somebody could be doing something down there, and if they're quiet and you don't know they're down there, there's a lot going on down there in the basement, but you're looking outside. You're so centered on what's going on outside, you're not realizing where you need to look. And that's, I feel like, what they're trying to give a heads up here with. There's something else you should be focusing on, something else that, like, that's why I think I saw this as a fox. It's not a fox. It's a dog, I believe, down near that guy's leg. But I kept seeing that as a fox, and I feel like they're trying to give me the heads up, like, something isn't as it seems here. Something's going on. And is that the 10? Yep, the 10 of Wands. This might be one of those situations where I don't really want to poke the bear because I don't want to cause problems, but they're saying give yourself a little credit. You know what to do. You know when you need to kind of like maybe change your viewpoint, maybe go look in a direction. They're like, well, I don't want to go down there. People don't want me in the basement. People don't want me to look in the basement. People want me to leave the basement alone. Maybe you should do your thing and kind of take a look over in this certain area that people don't want you to look at. And I feel like I've been like, but the rule is I'm not supposed to be over there. The rule is I'm not supposed to go down in that part of the house. That's the rule. That's the rule that I'm not supposed to be there. And if I adhere by the rules, everything's okay. But it's kind of like, yeah, but why don't they want you over there? There's something here you're not looking in the right direction. And it's kind of like by breaking the rules, I feel like I'm breaking the security of the situation. They don't want you to look in a certain direction. Whatever this is, they don't want you to look there. And I feel like I've been playing by the rules. I feel like I've been playing by the rules. Like, I'll just stay away from that. I won't go anywhere near the basement. If I don't go anywhere near the basement, it's not going to tempt me. I'm centering outside. I'm looking outside. I'm looking at everything outside, just outside. And maybe I'll even walk outside. I'll go walk outside. That way I don't have to, no basement for me. I'm going to look outside or I'm going to go outside. That's it. No basement for me. You've been adhering to the rules for a while, and that seems to be the advantage for somebody else. I'm getting it's time to look in the basement. Whatever that symbolizes for you. This will change things. 7 of Swords, but it's coming in like this, which means right side up, it's getting away with something that people shouldn't get away with. Upside down, it's kind of like somebody getting caught. You might figure out what somebody's doing. They may think they're getting away with it, but once you figure out what's going on here, I feel like you're going to find out something unscrupulous is going on. Empress coming in like this too. Somebody who does things and it's kind of like part of this goes to everybody else's benefit, but maybe they're getting a little bit out of it that they shouldn't be. This reminds me of somebody who, is this called skimming off the top? I don't know. Years ago, there was a person who would collect for a charity, and people didn't realize that when this person collected for a charity, they would take some of that money and buy themselves dinner when they went to do stuff, and they put gas money in their car when they were traveling here or there. I think it was like 10% they were taking of all the money they collected, but nobody knew they were doing that. That wasn't how that was supposed to be done. It was usually something people traded off, and everybody did their piece, and they just traded it off. I'll do it this month, you do it next month. This person said they would do it every month, and they did it for a while before people caught on that they were taking some of those funds for themselves. And it was a bit of money, like it was over $1,000, and they would take some of that money for themselves every time. And it really wasn't that much work they were doing. They were like, you know what I mean? If you were at a sit-down job, it was like an hour's worth of work, I'm just saying. So, I'm just saying. And usually people would trade it around and nobody else did that. So it was a charity. People were giving to a charity. And I feel like what they're saying is you might realize what's going on here. And somebody's like, well, I'm doing mostly good. I'm just doing some extra for myself. And it's kind of like, that's not how that's supposed to work. That's not really okay. I think this person got fired for that, now that I think of it. But because they might have been worse than I realized, but it doesn't matter. I think they did some other things too. It doesn't matter. Basically, this is something that does partial good for people. It does more for themselves than for good for other people. And I feel like if you figure that out, you see what's really going on here, I feel like you can look a little deeper here and go, oh, wait a minute, something isn't right. Maybe that should be kind of brought forward. Maybe I should talk to certain people about that. It's up to you what you do with that information, but you might find something. Ironically, this will also be very entertaining for you because in a boring situation, anything like this could actually get your brain going again, get you more connected. It might help you get more of a connection to this situation. This is also part of the value of Gemini, to see things that people don't see, to get in there and find out things that people don't want you to find out. So I think we're there with this one. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.